go. Thank you. Other interesting cultural news, you have Anheuser Busch Stella tweet about the groundhog is ratio to say the least. Now, granted, this was posted about 4 or 5 days ago, so it's had time to brew, pun moderately intended. And they said, again, this is Anheuser Busch's ex-Twitter profile. They said, quote, 6 more weeks of winter or not, we'll bet Pax and Talu. My speaking aptitudes know no bounds. Again, if you click the subscribe button, it may very well assist with my speaking endeavors to improve that. We shall see. That's just a theory I have. Puxatawny? I'll try my hardest, but again, it's a word you pronounce once a year. Nevertheless, they say, quote, 6 more weeks of winter or not, we'll bet Puxatawny Phil had never seen the shadow this perfect, unquote. They didn't say it like the Three Stooges, like perfect, but they actually spelled it out, so it is spelled wrong. However, I appreciate a good wordplay. It's perfect, as in Pourfect, as if they're implying you should, pour a beer. Although they also have a picture of a beer bottle, which, unless you're ultra, highfalutin and sophisticated, I wouldn't think you'd pour that into a glass. Again, I'm a beer aficionado. Well, it's also an Anheuser-Busch product. I don't think a beer aficionado would ever actually drink that, unless perhaps they're being tortured in some type of dystopian spy scenario. But nevertheless, they have a picture of 3 bottles of Stella Artois. Granted, they're not even open. I guess it does look better with the paper wrapper around the neck of the bottle. And again, in terms of views, it did abysmal. 2,437 views, which is nearly impossibly bad for a multi-billion-dollar company with such a long, rich history, and yet that's how bad they've shot themselves in the foot. You could debate if it is worse than Ron DeSantis shooting himself in the foot with a seemingly 50 cal during his attempted run for presidency or Republican nominee. But yeah, I got 2,437 views and only 45 likes, which is, again, terrible to say the least. Now, not brag, but I, at one point, got 50 likes. Maybe, perhaps. I think it did happen one time. Probably. Maybe. But, nevertheless, 45 likes for Anheuser-Busch. And, of course, they did hide some of the responses, so we'll click the super secret button at the end when we go through the other comments. And, again, does this inspire me to buy the product? And again, I'm not sure, maybe it would be in poor taste. Well, pun moderately intended, it is an Anheuser-Busch InBev product, but they're not even showing a cute little, what is it, not gopher, groundhog? They're not even showing it. Now, again, I'm no $1 million budget marketing genius, although statistically speaking, my marketing has done better than Bud Light in terms of I haven't lost 30% of my business by doing a marketing campaign. So there's that. But why not have a cute little, even if it's not a real animal, have like a stuffed toy of a groundhog about to open up the product? Again, maybe that would piss off PETA for all 18 people who still support PETA, but that would have been cute, funny, entertaining. Maybe have some type of shtick where he's, debating if he's seeing a shadow. There's material and an opportunity to make this more of a compelling, advertisement. And of course, ironically or hilariously, they have a little faded print in the top right corner of this picture saying message for 21 plus, when the same company paid Dylan Mulvaney, whose average audience is 15 years old. They gave Dylan Mulvaney $185,000, a couple of pictures and a video to promote their brand. Yeah, they got the worst negative ROI I've ever seen. So it's ironic they're actually trying to make sure the product is only put and entertained and put in front of adults. And again, it's just a picture of their product. It doesn't inspire you to buy it. Doesn't inspire you to take a picture of it. Doesn't inspire you. And hilariously, I guess they are trying everything they can to build up the other brands. Again, Anheuser Busch InBev has over 40 beer brands in their portfolio. So again, they know Bud Light, that brand's hurting pretty bad, even though they're going to try for a sports ball or Super Bowl commercial, which maybe you'll get 1% of your sales back because people worship sports balls in the United States. But I don't know. Let's go to the comments and see. Maybe perhaps I'm alone in this assessment. Perhaps people in the comments are so impressed by this marketing campaign, they're going out and they're going to buy Stella today, by the caseload. Historically speaking, absolutely not. But Let's dive in the comments and find out. Let's see here. John B says, quote, fancy bottle, but not my favorite. I'll stick with good old Bud, but thanks. Interesting. So not necessarily a negative comment, more of a neutral comment, which makes me suspicious. If this is a real person, perhaps a Bud Light employee, maybe a bot, going to John B's profile, and again, nobody liked that comment. Not even Anheuser Busch and Bev, who apparently, allegedly have employees left, and yet they couldn't take a fraction of a second to like that, or just say, you know, appreciate you being a fan of Bud Light. Because again, this person's saying, oh yeah, I'll stick to good old Bud. And yet they couldn't take the 1/1000th of a second to like this person's comment. Which again, is a fun little reminder to like this video. But again, that takes very little effort for them to do that. They couldn't even do that. They didn't respond. Now, John B, going to his profile, he has 174 followers, joined in 2011. Let's see here. And I'll be damned. He likes, what is that kid's game? Wordle? So he posts original content, and he doesn't just want gift cards. This is perhaps the second time in the past year we've seen that. He does reposts for Bud Light, but a lot of his posts seem to be original thoughts and articles. I'm pretty impressed. That's a real comment. I'll be damned. Let's see what else we got. Well, of course, the second comment, not so good. The second comment comes from Just Me 25215. Interesting name. And they say, quote, it's amazing how many ignore Bud's tweets, unquote, getting 3 likes. Let's see here. Florida Boy simply says 6 more weeks of boycotting, unquote, getting 1 like. Curtis67 says, quote, another AB beer not to enjoy, getting 2 likes. Chance Demand says, quote, did Dylan switch to piss water, unquote, getting 1 like. Let's see. Now there's a little disclaimer. Show additional replies, including those that may contain offensive content. Of course, let's click the bonus button. Click that. Oh, it says posted unavailable, so I guess the person may have deleted it. And is that really it? They got 8 comments total, and 1 was neutral, a couple were deleted, and the rest were just roasting them. That's perhaps the worst ratio I've ever seen. That's actually worse than some Bud Light ratios. Usually there's 3 or 4 robots in there, or some just mentally vacuous people who just want free stuff. But in this case, there's 1 person who's just like, I don't really like that, but I like your other products, which is kind of like a backhanded compliment, perhaps. Now, of course, we do have the little hidden button, so we're going to click that. What are they trying to hide? Well, that's not too exciting. They just had 1 hidden response. It was a statement from Florida Boy, and he simply said, still boycotting. And it looks like 16 people saw that before that was hidden by Anheuser Busch. So again, not a very, very compelling marketing campaign. Doesn't really inspire you to buy the product. Really doesn't tell you anything about the product at all. And again, they didn't even showcase. Spend $20 on a cute little stuffed groundhog. That would have been more hilarious or entertaining. And yet, this really doesn't do anything. It reminds me you own that brand, which I would actually argue with how many people are actually boycotting Anheuser Busch and Bev, you almost wouldn't want that. Because this is just going to remind people, oh yeah, you own that too. That's a reminder not to buy it if those people are participating in the Bud Light boycott. So it'll be interesting to see how they do this year, but let's just say they're off to a pretty rocky start. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of February, so if you click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or just a comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, and sharing also does help with the magical YouTube algorithm. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.